If people just go to Google, type in their query, and get the answer straight in the search results, that means they don't need to click on any of these websites. So what happens to those websites? And this is why marketers are so scared. In fact, the director of SEO, everyone's favorite, the Daily Mail, is predicting massive drops in click-through rates and calls this pretty shocking. The global SEO director at Bauer, a media company, goes even further. We are probably heading towards the end of an era of the link-based web, and we as publishers are going to have to find a different business model that allows us to monetize that content. Big statements. And I don't disagree. AI and zero-click search is the biggest shift in digital marketing since search. Let's be completely clear-eyed. Companies will die as a result of this. But here at Exposure Ninja, we have been pioneers in optimizing and getting our clients featured in AI and zero-click search. And we've come to a slightly different conclusion. If your business sells something, you can actually win from zero-click search. How? Well, it's basically by... Well, Kelly from the Exposure Ninja team has written an amazing blog post which you can go and check out if you like. And in it, she gives a bit of a state of the union of zero-click search. And the TLDR is it's on the rise. So back in 2022, about 25.6% of desktop searches resulted in a zero-click search in the US. But recently, it looks like that number's more than doubled. SparkToro saying that 58.5% of searches in the US ended without the user clicking on the organic result. Before we think about how we can win through zero-click search, we need to understand what we're playing against. So broadly speaking, there are three main types of zero-click search. We've got searches like this. What's the weather today? Where Google is giving us a search feature that explains the answer. So really, there's not much need to click on these websites, although we could if we wanted to. Another version of this is, say you're searching for a phone number or an address or reviews, and you get the info directly presented to you in the search results. The second type of search is a featured snippet. This is where Google lifts content from a web page and just displays it in the search results. You may have noticed fewer featured snippets in your search results because they're tending to be replaced by the third type of zero-click search, AI overviews. And AI overviews are increasing. Google is incredibly bullish, and they're even testing AI mode, which is a whole different type of Google search, which we covered in a video recently, which is basically just the AI overview. It's really this third type of zero-click search that has marketers so terrified. And to understand why and what we need to do about it, let's just take this search as an example. How do I open a bank account? This is what's called an informational phrase, but there is a bit of commercial intent in there. It's informational because somebody is looking for information, but there's a bit of commercial intent because it's fairly likely that at some point somebody is going to open a bank account if they're searching for something like this. There is an entire marketing strategy built on the back of optimizing and ranking websites for this type of search. If we go down to the classic organic web search results, you can see, for example, that all of the websites that are ranking have optimized pages for how do you open a bank account. So the marketing strategy here is you figure out what people are going to be searching for before they're about to buy. Then you write content on your website about that topic. Then when they search for that information, they find your article, they come onto your website, you explain how to open a bank account, and you get them to click the link to go and open a bank account in your bank. And it's this type of thing that could be under threat with the rise of zero-click search, because if I don't need to click on the website to find out how to open a bank account, I can get that answer from the AI overview, then all of a sudden, what's the point of making that content? The biggest losers in this type of zero-click search aren't actually the banks, because fundamentally, if people are looking to open a bank account, they're still going to open a bank account at one of those banks. The biggest losers are the content sites, like this one here, Money Supermarket. Money Supermarket's entire business model is about getting people onto this site, reading this content, and then clicking to start a search to open a new bank account. Then Money Supermarket would be paid a commission by the banks if someone opens the bank account through this content. So it's really this step that Google is moving into the search results, and Money Supermarket has to figure out a way around this, which is why it's the media sites that are so panicked about AI overviews and zero-click search. But what about businesses that actually sell stuff? Are they all doomed? At Exposure Ninja, we think no, definitely not. And in fact, this could be a turning point for your business if you build the stuff we're about to look at into your marketing strategy. In fact, there are a few ways to win, so let's take a look. I've run a search here for Best Spurge Weed Killer. This is an informational search, but again, there's a bit of commercial intent here, right? I'm probably going to buy some weed killer as a result of this. Now, we've got the AI overview at the top. Our top ranking website is actually one of our clients. Hey, Ron. On the surface, Ron might be about to lose big because rather than people clicking on his website to get to the answer and then going through to buy the product, now they're seeing this big AI overview at the top. But don't worry, Ron, we've got you. Because if you notice in this AI overview, guess whose website is being featured in the links here? It's Ron's website. So some people are going to see this and click on Ron's website to get more information. But you might be thinking, well, hey Tim, come on. Why is anybody going to click on that link if they get all the information that they need here? And this is a great point that strikes at the heart of this zero search topic. But think about this. If I'm searching for best spurge weed killer and I get all of this great information, I've still got weeds. I still need to solve that problem by buying something. And that's where optimization for AI overviews comes in. Because for example, I'm seeing this Celsius WG, which is the one recommended at the top. Now, if I want to go and buy this, I'm going to click that link. Guess what? I'm going to get a link to Golf Course Lawn. I'm going to go through to that website and I'm going to make a purchase. So the searcher is still going to make a purchase at the end of the research journey, but we just need to make sure it's your store, your brand, or your product that's being featured when somebody is ready to make that purchase. Of course, you can also get your brand or your product recommended in these answers. One of our largest clients, you would have heard of them, but I'm not allowed to tell you who it is, has seen an increase in visibility of 35% in just 6 months by us helping to get them recommended and featured more in these types of AI searches. And this is a large client with significant SEO track record that is still seeing huge growth during all of this AI disruption. I've mentioned this company before, another one of our clients. If you search for recommend me an iPad Air case, look at this Zeroclick result for Zugu. I mean, come on, could you get any better than this? And this is another example of how you can optimize your product and your business to make sure that these AI tools and the Zeroclick search is recommending you. So how do we actually do this? What are the levers that you need to pull and the things that you need to optimize in order to make this type of visibility happen? Well, if you think about the typical funnel, at the top of that funnel, we've got the really informational searches. What is a weed? What is grass? This is the type of stuff that AI overviews are going to dominate. Nobody's going to be clicking on websites for that type of real top of funnel stuff because those searchers just want a quick answer to a question. They're not really seriously looking into anything. But as they move down that funnel, they might be searching for what are the different types of weeds? What's this weed that I'm seeing in my lawn? They're learning more about the situation in order to move towards making a purchase. Now, at this point, they might still be getting their queries answered by AI overviews, but if you can create content that can influence those AI overviews, you've got a good chance of getting some traffic from these searches. But as that person moves further and further down the funnel towards the purchase, at the bottom of the funnel, they start to ask questions like, what's the best product for this type of need? And those are the types of searches we really want to get your products featured in front of and get your website capturing that traffic. To do that, of course, you need content that is targeting that middle and bottom of the funnel. This means creating content around comparisons, pricing, the purchase process, because these are things searched by people who are about to buy. Okay, so you've got the content. How do you get it into the AI answers? Well, our SEO client Zugu is a great example of this. Because they've invested so heavily into their SEO, they're ranking really well. If you search for best iPad cases, for example, Zugu's ranking position 2 and 4. And then, to be honest, they're featured in a lot of these articles as well, either through digital PR or just because they've got a great product. Of course, you do this through having great content, building loads of links, and getting lots of mentions across the web. This is classic SEO content marketing and digital PR, the stuff that we do day in, day out at Exposure Ninja. And by the way, Exposure Ninja does this all day, every day. This is what we do for our clients. If you're interested in doing this stuff for your business too, then you can request a marketing review from the team here at Exposure Ninja. All you need to do is go to exposureninja.com/review, tell us a bit about your business and your goals. Our team will then analyze your visibility at the moment and the potential for improvement. We'll lay out a bit of an action plan that you can follow over the next 6 to 12 months to increase your visibility. We don't charge for this service, but not everybody is eligible, so you do need to apply for this at exposureninja.com/review. If you do that, we'll also give you some suggestions on how to optimize your content for AI overviews, because there are some specific things that it seems to be looking for. But where traditional SEO and zero-click search and AI marketing differ is that AI marketing and zero-click search is often about getting your product, your service, or your business talked about in other publications. Again, going back to Zugu, if you ask ChatGPT what's the best iPad case, it gives you this answer. Why does it give you this answer? Because firstly, the Zugu website is ranking really well, but secondly, because the product is being talked about across the internet. Digital PR can get your business featured in the sort of publications that are ranking ranking for these searches, the ones that are having their content pulled into AI results and ChatGPT. You need to be getting featured in those types of websites if you want to be recommended by the AI tools. This is even true for your own branded searches. Like if I search for is Exposure Ninja a good marketing agency, AI Overviews is taking from a whole bunch of websites, including our own. Yes, it's drawing from Exposure Ninja, but actually a lot of the information it's pulling from is from third-party websites. And this just shows how AI Overviews works. It works by reading lots of information across the internet, aggregating it, and then giving it to the reader. So if you're going to really make the most of this new zero-click search world, you need to be making sure your business is being found across the internet in various publications, not just on your own site. So let's wrap it up. How you win at zero-click search? Well, firstly, we need to recognize that while some types of traffic might drop, the same number of purchases are going to be made. And marketing is, and always has been, about influencing the purchase. So how do we do this with zero-click search? Well, we get featured. We make sure that it's our website being linked to in that box whenever we possibly can. That way, any traffic that does click on links is going to go to you. Then, of course, we need to get featured on the other websites that are being linked to in those results. We need the AI tools to keep seeing your brand, your business, and your products recommended and mentioned across the internet. That way, you increase the chances that they're going to be recommending you to the searchers. But let's be clear, this is a different approach. This is a new digital marketing strategy that most businesses just aren't adopting at the moment. There will be winners and there will be losers from this next generation of search. The losers will be the ones whining about their traffic drops from their junk AI blogs that are no longer ranking for completely irrelevant terms. The winners are going to be the ones that grab this opportunity, pick up all the purchases, and go and grow sales as a result. And if you want to work with a company that loves winners like that, come and talk to us at exposureninja.com. And by the way, if you like this video, please subscribe. We're so close to 100k subscribers and I really want that little YouTube plaque. So please drop us a subscription, give us a like, and talk to us in the comments. See you soon.